Hello and welcome to Homescreen. I'm Ali MacManus, Senior Designer here at 11FS. As always, Homescreen is brought to us by Pulse, our collection of over 4,000 user journeys from banks and fintechs all over the world. Head over to pulse.11fs.com to request a free demo and see how others are solving their design challenges. In today's episodes, we are joined by Charles Roels, Head of Product at Senior, to talk about how insurtechs can use design practices to make their products more attractive and easy to use for consumers. How are you doing today, Charles?
Yeah, thank you. I'm not too bad. And you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thanks. Let's start by just introducing Sosure for our viewers. In your mind, what is Sosure?
Yeah, Sosure is an insurtech company. We're an MGA. We're mobile-first, consumer-centric. We're still a startup, and we are trying to restore consumer trust in insurance, which is a bit tricky. It's said that less people have trust in insurance than in banking, and they caused a crash in 2008. So it's quite amazing. So there's a lot of work to be done there. So yeah, we put the consumer at the center of everything we do. And we are trying to build what we call a win-win insurance. So our mantra is amazing if you need us, and rewards if you don't. So that's something in a nutshell.
Certainly, in first impressions, you don't seem like a conventional insurance company. And we're going to show our viewers some of the interface and some of the journeys later on in today's session. But yeah, first impressions, when you first see Sosure, is that, yeah, it doesn't look like a conventional insurtech company. Can you tell us a little bit about designing the identity of that product and how you managed to try and move that perception away from it being traditional?
Yeah, obviously it's easy when you start from scratch, right? You don't have the existing legacy systems and processes, and our founder had the idea to kind of bring back the traditional, well, the 16th century insurance, where it was kind of a peer-to-peer system. And so out of that came our win-win insurance kind of angle. We've done a big brand identity exercise last year, and we've really kind of tried to crystallize this. And that's where we came out with this win-win insurance. And everything we do, if we ask something to the customers, we give something in return. And so that's very different from traditional insurance, where you basically pay for your policy, and then it's a pain to actually get your claim handled and get some money back. And so a lot of that's why people don't trust insurance, because they think that insurances are out to get you, and that they are fake or scam or whatever. So everything we do is about making it easy, making it clear, reducing the fine print, etc. And that translates in our design as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not an experience I've ever had when dealing with insurance companies. All the problems you outlined there are problems that I've encountered and experienced. You mentioned legacy systems as a part of one of the reasons that the incumbents really struggle with their perceptions. What other barriers do you think exist for those traditional incumbents that would be hard for them to break if they try to create something like Sosure?
Well, I mean, they obviously have the money to develop the same stuff that we do with a very small team. I think it's a mindset. They are basically focusing on the bottom line, on how much money they can make. And so they try to reduce payouts, and they try to get as much money out of customers. Whereas we, in our win-win kind of mindset, we are trying to always have the customer in mind, and it's just a mindset, I think. And yeah, like I say, it's easier to start from scratch than build something on top of legacy systems and a lot of processes that are outdated. They still do a lot on paper, We try to automate everything. We try to digitalize everything, make things as easy as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess when you're trying to change the perception of an industry, and you've mentioned that win-win insurance line a few times, and that really seems to catch on as a message. Like, do you think that making consumers understand that these processes are going to be easier, that you're not like the other insurance companies, do you think that having that clear language and those strong design elements really help in getting that across to distrusting consumers?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all over our websites and our apps. It's really like the key to everything we do. In our language, in our designs, even our policy documents are super clear. There is no fine print. Everything is what you see is what you get, basically.
Yeah, and we've seen that trust slowly being regained in the fintech space with the likes of Monzo and Revolut. Do you think that they were a big inspiration to insurtechs like yourself and how you can break those traditional models?
Well, I would obviously be lying if we hadn't, looked at them. They're obviously doing a fantastic job in the banking sector, especially. But they're also a different type of product. You use your banking app almost every day, if not every day, just to make transactions or pay in the shop. Insurance products are obviously very different. You buy your policy and then you can forget about it until you need to claim. So it's very difficult to build a product that's similar when you basically don't really need it every day. So one of our big question marks is how can we engage users more? How can we make sure that they use our app more often? And so, yeah, that's still something that we haven't completely solved. But yeah, I like the design elements, the interactions, the way they speak to customers. Obviously, yes, that's a big inspiration.
In terms of that engagement, one of the things that Social has been so proactive in doing is including social engagement within the product. How do you feel that that's done in heightening interest and just overall customer interaction?
Yeah, it's actually a real big success story for us. The whole social element of Social, where it's not a million miles away from what other companies are doing, where you share your link and you get a reduction on the price of the goods you sell. We have this notion of the reward pot, where if you share your link and somebody buys a policy through that link and you connect on our app, then you get money in your reward pot. And at the end of the year, of your policy year, if you haven't claimed, you can get up to 80% of your money back, which is enormous. It's like a no claims discount, but like not in car insurance, I guess. And we are in double digits now of the number of policies that we sell through that channel, which is amazing. And yes, it does help with engagement. There are always people who are not interested, and so one of the the challenges that we have is to try to convince these users to also share. And sometimes it can be as simple as, I've already shared, I don't want to share anymore, I don't want to sell insurance to my friends. So it's also trying to change the message. We're trying to not make them sell insurance to their friends and engaging them in other ways, and making sure that they understand the benefits of the system.
Yeah, of course. I think that's one of the things that comes with the downturn in trust in insurance companies is, I don't think there's a whole generation out there now that just simply don't see the value in insurance. They think it's there to rip them off. It's more hassle than it's worth. Have you seen an increase in interest or understanding the value based on the social approach that you've taken?
Yeah, we see that it's more younger people who are sharing and connecting on our platform, obviously, because they're used to it. In terms of getting insurance, I don't think that younger people don't think that insurance is necessary. A problem that we have is that they often haven't needed insurance before. So it's sometimes the first time they are faced with having to buy insurance. And so we need to explain to them in very easy language why it's necessary and what the advantages are. And it's often the older generation who may have had bad experiences with claims, who are a little bit more reluctant to engage with insurances. And bizarrely, what we see, even though our target demographic is the younger people between 18 and 35, something like that, we get a lot of really good reactions from people over that age bracket who are saying, "Oh, actually, this is a really great insurance," because they can compare it to their previous experiences where it was really bad, basically.
Yeah, of course. Now, Social started in kind of the younger demographic space by offering primarily mobile phone insurance. You've since branched into contents insurance as well, which obviously has a much wider demographic to target. What was the decision behind that branching out into contents, and can we expect to see you branch further into other spaces?
Yes, absolutely. It's part of our business and product strategy, the long-term strategy. Actually, mobile phone insurance was some kind of MVP or proof of concept, if you want, and because it's a very difficult, complex market where claim ratios are very high, and so we believe that if we can crack that market, and we did, we can branch out to other products, insurance products. So contents is a first step to many other insurance products that we are planning to launch. And even our contents insurance is targeted towards the younger demographic. It's actually, you could see it as renter's insurance. But then the next step would be buildings and contents together as well. So that will then unlock like a wider demographic of probably older people as well.
Excellent. Well, talking of the contents insurance, we're now going to take a look at the contents insurance journey. Would you mind walking us through this journey for us, please?
Yes, absolutely. What you see is actually an existing policy that I will amend. So we have this concept of making an inventory when you've bought a policy. So what's happening now is that we have an AI who is detecting objects. It's detected a laptop, so you added the object to your inventory. We ask users to add price and the year of purchase. So in this case, it doesn't detect the object, so you can do it manually, and you can just type in what is shown on the screen. So it just typing coffee machine, and so again we ask the year of purchase and the price paid, and that gives us an indication of the value of the item basically, and of the price we will or of the value of the item that we will need to refund if the person claims. There's a third object. We're still working on the AI, but it detects about 20 objects right now. And we're working actually on adding many other features, including augmented reality to see 3D spaces, to make sure that people don't take pictures of posters, for example. Yeah, this is a bit, it is a classic carousel to explain a bit what happens. So once you finish your inventory, we will tell the user if there are missing elements. So for the laptop, we actually need the serial number and the proof of purchase. So we encourage the user to basically take a picture of their serial number on their screen or on the package or whatever. And then the same thing for proof of purchase. We're currently working on making to add text detection, and then in a second phase we will add OCR to actually read the serial number, so that we make sure that users are actually submitting the right documents.
Excellent, thank you for showing us that. how common is it for contents insurance that you actually have to take pictures of the content itself?
I think it's not that common, but we've seen a few incumbents do it and a few other startups starting to do this. Usually it's just a very long list of items and you take pictures and you submit them. We decided to do it with this object recognition system just because it's much easier and fun for the user. And we try to actually make it really, seamless. So we're putting a lot of effort in developing that particular feature so that the pain is taken away and you don't have to fill in long lists of objects and submit pictures. And yeah, it's just a pain. And we also try to do it upfront rather than at claims, because then we actually know if the object exists when the person takes out the policy. And then at claim, you can basically, if you drop your laptop, for example, instead of having to explain everything, you can just take from your inventory the laptop that is broken and say, this is the object that I want to claim on. And so we have all the information already, and we make the claims process much, much easier.
Well, yeah, of course, as well. I mean, the standout scenario in that case is if you're starting to ask for a picture and it's been stolen.
Absolutely.
There's no way you can obviously produce that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We try to do it, like put the whole thing upside down, where if people have a flood or a fire or whatever in their house, it's almost impossible to find proof of purchase or serial numbers or whatever, unless you have a digital copy somewhere. So yeah, doing it up front is basically making the whole process so much easier for everyone.
Of course, and it must take so much stress and emotion out of that when it comes to making what could be a very stressful claim, like you said, fire or flood. The last thing people want to be doing is scrambling around for serial numbers when they've lost things.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what kind of feedback have you had from customers on this? I imagine overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, all the feedback we had about this particular feature was immensely positive. People find it works. It's fun to use. I think we still need to work a little bit on the serial number and proof of purchase capture. We're doing that right now. We're improving every day. This was an MVP actually of that. But like I said, we are adding text recognition, OCR, to make sure that people submit the right documents.
In terms of the proof of purchase, how does that cover, say, items that are perhaps second-hand? I'm thinking about the laptop I'm speaking to you on now, which I actually, as a personal laptop, I purchased from my place of work. So I didn't actually purchase it brand new. So how does it handle those scenarios?
First of all, you only need a proof of purchase if the item is worth more than £1,000. That already discounts a lot of objects. And then secondly, I think for items purchased secondhand, if you have some kind of paper trail, we will probably accept it, even if it's an email or receipt from eBay or something like that.
So for the items that the image recognition doesn't recognize, you've got a sort of free text field within the journey there that allows you to enter the price of the item. How is that regulated? How do you guys check that is the value of the cost?
Well, currently we do not yet check the prices, but we are also, this is another thing that we're working on in the background, is to try to detect the actual object. So, for example, currently we detect TV, but we could very much in the future detect, this is a Philips from 2018, this model, but we need much more kind of learning around the AI to be able to do that right now. There are no libraries available in the open market that have all that information. So we will slowly learn from our users, and we will try to integrate libraries if we can find them. And then we will be able to say, yes, this is a Philips from 2018. You bought it £700, but it's still worth maybe 200. And so at claim,
Wow.
you will get £200 and not 700, right?
Yes, of course. Wow. And how do you value or deal with things that perhaps have much less tangible value, things like sentimental value or emotional value to people that they will obviously want to insure?
Well, that's one of the challenges that we have right now. Obviously, we can only refund the value of the object, let's say. Sentimental value is not something that we can deal with right now. It's certainly something we've discussed. We haven't found a solution for that yet. But yeah, it's the same with like book collections or art or that type of things. It's a very specific market, and if we really cannot do it, we will have maybe to defer to a specialist insurer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have to say, going back to the design and sort of the design language of that journey, again on the website when I was looking about, things that are included and not included, just the language around, Nan's tea set and, sort of expensive paintings and things just make it so much more removed from that traditional clunky sort of insurance process. Very much like the sort of the winking face once a product is loaded in as well. How do you find putting in some of those behavioral dynamics and things have encouraged people to add more and more things, or see if they can scan things that perhaps they wouldn't have otherwise insured?
Yeah, absolutely. It's right at the center of our design. I think behavioral psychology to help with the user experience is absolutely key for us. I think half my library is about behavioral psychology, so it's about positive reinforcement. It's about getting people to click on the right button, do the right thing, so that we actually make their experience easier. Yeah, absolutely. And the little winky face, it all helps with the overall delightful experience of the app, I think. So I hope we're doing a good job there.
It sure does. So a few final questions. Where are we hoping to take SoSure in the future?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, in the short term, we are iterating obviously on home contents, and we're also improving our mobile phone insurance. We have a long roadmap, like a 5-year roadmap of rolling out different insurance products. In terms of making that happen, we are still building out our platform, which will enable us to roll out new products very, very easily, and without using an external platform, basically like Salesforce or whoever. There's a few out there. So we basically control everything, and obviously we have a very small team, so things take a little bit of time. But for example, we built the whole contents insurance product in less than 5 months with about 8 people.
Wow.
I think very few companies can say that. And so, I think the future is obviously looks bright, and there's going to be massive challenges. And yeah, we will roll out a number of new products, like I mentioned, buildings insurance, but it could be travel, health, it could be car insurance even in the long term. There's no limit to our ambition, let's say.
Of course. And for you personally, is there one specific area that you'd love to work on or look to crack insurance in a particular area?
I think a very interesting one right now is travel insurance and health insurance, maybe combined.
Very topical.
Yeah, because of Brexit, British people who travel to Europe don't have a valid health insurance. So the EHIC card, the European Health Insurance Card, is not valid anymore. So people will need to get some kind of health insurance or travel insurance when they go even to France. So that's an interesting one. And then with COVID on top of that, the travel is going to reopen at some point. So it's certainly a market that is very, very interesting for us. Obviously, there are incumbents who do a very good job. We're still kind of pondering about like how can we make this social. And I have a few great ideas about that, but they may be a little bit technically challenging. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I say, we have a lot of opportunities, and we actually need to choose wisely, being a very small startup. So, and with limited resources, obviously. So yeah, there's a lot of things we can do, we want to do, and travel is certainly high on the agenda.
Yeah, well, I very much look forward to seeing the growth and evolution of Socia in the future.
Thank you very much.
Charles, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been wonderful to chat. And thank you for everyone for watching today's show. If you want to see more journeys like this, head over to pulse.11fs.com to find out more and to catch up on previous Homescreen episodes. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Our Pulse Pick of the Week goes to Greenlight's Creating an Allowance Journey. For the parent, the Family Finance app offers complete oversight over their children's balance and spending, with easy controls for setting allowances, quickly sending money, and splitting what's sent into different pots on behalf of the kid. The interface is original, easy to navigate, and very well suited for family finances.